Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
And welcome back to FPL Graduates.
So, we've got another Man United fan on today. It's Braden, repping the good gear. That's the best shirt we've had on so far. You've got to admit.
I mean, I've produced some bells in the past, so
I think
no comment on it.
The shirt may have the most trophies won in the season for a club on the channel.
Big facts, big facts. Right, so why are you a Man United fan? That's the main question.
Well, long story short, Dad supported them. Dad was old enough to see Liverpool win a lot of trophies, a lot of league titles, and then Man United had their turn of Ferguson and all them great years. So yeah, passed on to me really and my brother. So yeah, that's about it really.
Decent.
Yeah, I'm not really liking this little United connection we've got going on here. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it because there's deluded corner. We'll call that over there, right? Because
he
I feel like that's all
Reading and winning a championship. Make that with what you will.
Top of the league, mate. So that's all I can say. We'll move on and we'll talk about United just a little bit more. FPL assets. What are we saying about United's options?
Well, obviously Bruno Fernandes. I mean, probably Man United's best player over the past since he's arrived really. I mean, the impact he's had. We were ripping our hair out seeing Lingard and Pereira at camp. Bruno comes in, changed it completely. So yeah, he's had another good start to the season, showing that he's got more than penalties to his game. So yeah, you got to back him. And like I said, if United get a penalty, I know he's missed the past two maybe, but you'd still back him to score. So a huge asset. Telles. I mean, if United play three at the back like they do in all big games, you'd think he'd be nailed on to start. So again, he looks like he's got a fantastic end product, something that I'd say we've been missing for a little bit in terms of having Luke Shaw play there and not exactly being up to scratch. So yeah, and then if Cavani comes on and plays, obviously he didn't play against PSG, so maybe they had one eye on this fixture. So if he gets a few Shearer headers, that'd be beautiful. Yeah, and De Gea, turn a corner, looks like another good asset, and I think we're quite lucky that he's still not making consistent mistakes. He's turned the corner. We got him and Henderson, who are two very good keepers. So yeah, no, I'd definitely go with them as big assets. And like I said, Martial, goals. Unfortunately suspended at the minute. Dr. Rashford MBE, Matt Warner breadwinner as a PSG. What would you want?
Yeah, long list of players. Choose of what you will. I know I've got Bruno. The guy returns every week. He loves a penalty, doesn't he?
He does love a penalty. Whether they're deserved or not is a different story.
That's not up for the debate.
Can we point out all the pens were deserved bar one last season, and that was the Villa game.
I know,
and we could have had a different one in that game.
Does the comments agree? Let us know.
We'll get the Twitter thread up of everyone that's been we've been through it.
So obviously FPL Fridays. How was your last game week?
Yeah, solid I'd say. Had a stinker a couple of weeks back. I think it was a 20 points week, which wasn't good. But this week got 83. I think the average was 60. So solid week. A lot of players returned for me, especially in the attacking areas, which was good. I think Trent needs to put his finger out. I'm not gonna lie, because he hasn't been performing this season for me.
No, he's been struggling. But who returned last week for you? Then go on.
So
a few names.
So we got Calvert-Lewin, goal against Liverpool, huge goal. Like your TikTok said, he was having a little bit of a sticky patch in the game, but he come good in the end. Jimenez actually was my captain because I forgot to make Son or Kane my captain, but he pulled through with a goal against Leeds, bonus point as well, which is always nice. Like I said, Son, Kane were in there. James, fantastic start to the Prem. Really excited to see him play for Everton. Fortunately, injured this week, so he's going to miss it against Southampton, where you'd figured he'd probably bag a goal or at least an assist. Grealish is in there, bit of a quiet game against Leicester, but I think he'll come good in the end. And obviously Bruno's in there. And in terms of defence, Lamptey, Justin, and Trent all had pretty quiet days, but luckily Emi Martinez in goal kept a clean sheet, got me 9 points as well.
Yeah, so a bit more points than just turning up that we had with the other week.
Yeah,
so,
he's definitely doing better than him.
So, it's time. Test your guest. Braden, how are you feeling? What sort of scores are you thinking that you should be getting?
I mean, well, I've done my research on like Lewis and found that what a good amount is, and that's about 6 or 7. So, if I can get around there, that'd be good. But I'm not going to call shots early because Brandon could throw in a few curveballs.
Yeah, I'm known for throwing in the odd curveball in questions and completely throwing off gurus of the YouTube game like Lewis Selassie. So I'm calling you out again, mate. I'm calling you out again. It was a terrible week last week. Let's hope you can do better than him though this week.
I hope so.
So, Josh, let's put a minute on the clock. 3, 2, 1. Who was the top scorer for Man United in the Premier League last season? There's 2 answers you could have.
Marcel and Rashford.
Good. How many goals did they score?
22.
Wrong. Who scored the most FPL points last season for United?
Bruno Fernandes.
How many clean sheets have United kept so far this season?
None.
Correct. Who has the most errors leading to goals for United last season?
Oh, it's not Slabhead. Lindelof.
Wrong. De Gea. Last season, how many clean sheets did United keep?
20.
13. There's one current player in the top 10 for all-time Premier League appearances for Man United. Name it.
Ryan Giggs.
De Gea. Van der Beek is United's newest signing. What numbers he began with?
34.
Correct. The last time United won the league, 2012-13, who was Man United's top FPL point scorer?
Van Persie.
Correct. Who has the most FPL points in United's defence so far this season? Maguire. How many goals has Rooney scored in the Premier League to the nearest 10?
250.
Wrong.
Time.
So, scores are in, and 5 points, Braden. It's not a bad score. You're not the worst that we've had. So,
I had a few stings on a couple. I should have performed better really. So
he's disappointed in himself. He's got high expectations, but 5's not a bad score to have. It's not quite at that top. The 7 pointers are the ones that really get the people talking. But a 5 pointer, I think you'll take that on the budget.
yeah, not bad.
Right, so on to the next segment of the video. It's the fixture rundown. We're going to look through all the games in the upcoming game week and tell you who we think might score. Usually get it wrong.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of times that we have got it right, but Premier League games this season, it's been such a strange time in the league, and so much has been happening. This league is a madness right now. But to start off the weekend, today it's going to be Aston Villa against Leeds. Really, really fascinating game of 2 teams that actually look like they're playing quite good football at the moment.
Yeah, obviously Villa are they haven't even drawn a game this season, and they're 4 that they've played. Leeds have looked decent, had a lot of tough fixtures, let's not forget. So it's going to be interesting. I do see Villa winning this one though. They look unreal at the minute, and Leeds they've stepped off the pedal a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah, they didn't quite do enough against Wolves. They didn't quite create as many opportunities as I thought that they could have in that game. And don't get me wrong, they're a great team together, but this Villa side do look really good defensively and do look like they can nullify a lot of attacks in this league.
Yeah, they've got a solid defence and some decent players going forward. So on to Saturday, the early kick-off. We see West Ham at home against Manchester City. Obviously, West Ham managed to scrape back in that game against Spurs last weekend, and City are now starting to get on a roll. KDB is back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether he starts or not, because obviously KDB is such a key player to Manchester City. If he does come back, they've got to be careful, haven't they? Because you don't want a reoccurring injury throughout the season. That's the worst thing that can happen. West Ham, they've been brilliant to start the season, I have to say. Defensively, been a bit weak at times, but going forward they actually look really good. And against Man City, it could be a really fascinating game. I do see City winning this one though. I reckon maybe a 2 or 3-1 to Manchester City for me.
Yeah, I probably agree that Man City will take the win in this one. I said it from the beginning of the season, West Ham are a dangerous team to come up against. They've got some very good players these days in those attacking positions and can hurt you. That's what Spurs found out. I don't know if they'll beat Man City this weekend, but I'm sure they'll give them a good run for their money. And it should be nice to see if KDB does start, him and Aguero back together, and FPL returning to the usual Aguero-De Bruyne combo.
Yeah, so the 3 o'clock game on the Saturday is not the best game of the weekend, it has to be said. It's Fulham against Crystal Palace. Now for me, I don't see a lot of goals in this one at all, to be honest.
No, it's definitely going to be a battle of defences, if anything. I still have Mitrovic because I haven't done my wild card. I've kept him specifically for the next run of 3 games that they have. They're facing teams like this that Mitrovic should be scoring against. He's got one of the highest shots in the boxes for the season so far. So along the lines of Salah, Mane, these types of players. So he just needs to convert them. He was very unlucky last weekend not to score at Sheffield United.
Yeah, I think he got a bit in his own head against Sheffield United, and he could have had a hat-trick that day if his mentality was in the right place. Do I see him getting those opportunities against a Palace team that are more defensively secure than Sheffield United? I'm not so sure. To be honest, I don't even know if I see any goals at all in this fixture.
Yeah, a lot of people have Zaha. I know there's a lot of Palace owners for defensive options like Mitchell. So it'd be interesting to see if these are the sort of here and there assets of your team, the bench fillers sort of.
Yeah, especially as Patrick Van Aanholt is reportedly back in contention to start this game. So it'll be interesting to see how they set up defensively anyway.
So moving on to probably the biggest game of the weekend in terms of actual fixtures, it is the 5:30 kickoff of Manchester United at home to Chelsea.
Yeah, biggest game of the weekend really. I don't know how this one's going to go really. I'll be very intrigued to find out how it does go. I can see a penalty in it, obviously. The less is said about that, the better. But Werner scoring last week makes it very interesting.
Definitely.
United scoring 4 against Newcastle makes it interesting. It could either be a really high scoring game like we saw when United played Tottenham, or it could be a really low scoring game. I just can't tell which one it's going to be yet.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the lineup for Manchester United specifically. They've played a few different teams this season and obviously got varied results, so it'll be interesting to see who starts. I really want to know if Alex Telles is starting. Obviously I'll know by tomorrow. I'll be watching Ollie's press conference, and if he is in contention to start, I will be drafting him in my FPL team. His crossing ability is next level. It's on the levels of Trent and Robertson, and I'm really excited to see if he can start the game.
Wow, that is some statement. That Tez is on the level with Trent and Robbo.
In crossing,
I
definitely think so.
We'll have to
He averaged 10 crosses in the last 2 seasons for Porto. I know it's in a weaker league, but that's 5 more than Trent.
Yeah, well, you can't argue with those stats. We'll have to see if he can replicate that sort of thing in the much tougher Premier League. Right, so the final game of Saturday is Liverpool as they host Sheffield United, and this is the one which I'm looking forward to this weekend in terms of my own FPL assets.
Yeah, obviously a lot of people probably be captaining Mo Salah in this game. Obviously Trent, a lot of people still own him. It'll be interesting to see how Liverpool do defensively now without Van Dijk. That's a big question. They look pretty tameless against Ajax midweek. Obviously the front 3 came off early. So what do you think is going to happen?
To be honest, I thought midweek they had one eye on this fixture already, to be honest. They took off their front 3 after, 59 minutes, 60 minutes. So I can see Liverpool coming out and doing the business. I think a solid 2-0 or 3-0 win. I don't see Sheffield United scoring even though Van Dijk is out. I think it is time for those Trent and Robbo sellers to get the karma that they deserve for selling those assets. I think this could be the game where they do return and get some bigger hauls.
Yeah, obviously Robertson's done quite well this season. It's mainly Trent that's been slacking in the attacking returns department, but hopefully you can pick it up. As a Trent owner myself, I am trying to back the boy. So moving on to Sunday, the first kickoff, we're going with Southampton versus Everton. For me, this is probably one of my favourite games of the weekend. 2 really good attacking teams coming up against each other. Everton are missing a few key players though through injury.
Yeah, I was saying on TikTok the other day how I was really looking forward to this game because Hasenhüttl's high pressing line against James. I mean, that would have been great to see, but obviously James is going to be out. Ancelotti said in his press conference that he's not going to be ready for their game. It could be bad for Everton because they're missing key players now. Richarlison has obviously got a ban.
Coleman's out.
Yeah, they've got a lot of players that they're missing. It'll be interesting to see if they can maintain the form they can without key players like that. We've seen them do it before when Allen was out, so let's see if they can be as creative and give Dominic Calvert-Lewin as many chances as they have been doing throughout the season.
Yeah, I think one thing with Everton that a lot of people misjudge is how much depth they've got. They've basically got their first team last season as their backup team this season, so they've got a good strength and depth. I'm sure Sigurdsson will play, he's a great player. and probably do some damage. But on the other hand, Southampton, solid team. I'd almost bet a lot of money for probably Danny Ings to score in this fixture. Everton haven't looked very good defensively really since the first day of the season, and I don't think they're going to be sharp enough to probably counteract that Che Adams and Danny Ings partnership.
Yeah, there could be some goals in that game. There could be some goals. Definitely. So at 4:30 on Sunday is Wolves against Newcastle, and again, it's another weird fixture. I don't really quite know what to make of it. What do you make of it, Josh?
Yeah, it's just Wolves have been struggling, Newcastle have been struggling. A lot of teams have just been like win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Like you're just unsure what they're going to do. I think Wolves have picked up a bit though since they've put Kilman especially into their defence, 4.1 million.
Yeah.
A very good asset if you're on wildcard. Newcastle, they do look good going forward, don't get me wrong, but I think somehow they've gone from last season being solid at the back and poor in attack, now strong in attack and poor in defence. It's not going to be good.
Yeah, Wolves had a tough fixture against Leeds, really tough fixture. So against Newcastle potentially could be scoring a few goals, but this is another one that I can't call this one again. Like there's a lot of fixtures this week that just don't seem set in stone, and this is another one for me. Newcastle are a team that either turn up or they don't. They either win 2 or 3-0 or they'll lose 2 or 3-0. And Wolves this season, I don't know, they don't seem the Wolves that they were last season.
Okay, so moving on, we're looking at Arsenal at home to Leicester City. Another big game this weekend. Arsenal, they're coming towards the end of their tough run of fixtures now. And then Leicester obviously struggling right now, lost to Aston Villa last weekend. They need to get their players back fit, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's the battle of the teams to get Europa League basically. It's the Europa League derby for the Premier League. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see if Arsenal can get more shots on target than they have done in previous games, because they've got one of the least amount of shots on targets in the league so far, the least amount of touches in opposition boxes in the league, and Leicester similarly, they don't look great this season. They had a really great result against Manchester City, but other than that, they haven't set the world alight. So it'd be interesting to see if one of these teams can kind of turn their season around and kind of get on a good run of form, because this is the fixture to do so.
Yeah, Arsenal lacking creativity, which is something you don't suggest with that team. And same again with Leicester. Obviously, no Maddison, he's been out, in and out. Vardy was out last week. They need those players back to start creating and start pushing on a bit. Moving on to Monday night, the earlier kick-off is Brighton at home to West Brom. Again, similar to Crystal Palace Fulham, not the best game you want to really watch, but there is a few FPL assets involved, aren't there?
So many. Well, there's just dead games this week. I'm actually fuming. They're like compared to last weekend, which was an absolute cracker of a weekend.
Last weekend.
Yeah, this game, well, it's another one where it's difficult to really call this one. West Brom do look quite good going forwards, as so do Brighton, but it's whoever gets off to the best start in this game is going to hold out. Whoever gets that first goal and gets in command and gets in the lead, I think they will see this one through. Yeah,
I think there's going to be a few goals in this game. Both teams love getting forward and are much better going forward than they are at keeping the lead. So I think there'll be multiple goals. Obviously, there's Matheus Pereira. I know he's the highest scoring midfielder at 6 million or below at the minute. You got Neil Maupay, obviously good form at the minute. Well, other than last week, he's been in good form. A few attacking assets like Lamptey as well. So a few players there. I wouldn't say there's going to be clean sheets for either side. I think there's definitely going to be goals in that one.
And to round off the weekend, we have got potentially the most intriguing game for FPL owners. It's Burnley against Tottenham. The big question is will Kane and Son do the business again for FPL managers?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot trickier than what people are assuming. I know a lot of people are going to captain these two, which is fair enough considering their form. But Burnley away, 8 o'clock on a Monday, it's just got a Sean Dyche feel to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is scream of it. Although on the other hand, you've got to bear in mind last week Burnley played against another promoted side. Who was it they played against? It was...
Yeah, West Brom.
Let's do this again.
Yeah, just go from after what I said.
So on the other hand of it though, we look at West Brom. Last week they played...
You said West Brom.
Yes, Brado!
Burnley versus West Brom.
You did.
Last week.
FPL Graduates, my arse.
I should be brown.
Right. So we look at it on the other hand though for Burnley. Last week they played against West Brom and they managed to concede 10 shots to them. It's concerning on one hand, but we all do know what Sean Dyche is like on a cold Monday night in Burnley. I mean, it could be a lot more difficult than people are thinking.
Yeah, Burnley are used to taking on a lot of shots though. That's how they play their game. They let Nick Pope do the business in goal. You'll see him score a lot of save points. I think he got a double-digit haul last week, which is really, really good to see if you owned him. Obviously invested that money in him. But Spurs, you've got to say, they looked electric in that first 15. If they get off to a similar start, you'll be silly not to captain any of them.
Okay, so, guest captain league time. Now, I guess we have to say it. With great regret, Werner returned a massive 32 points. So Lewis is now top of the league. Well done, Lewis. I hope you're happy with yourself because you're now top and you had a great week. Fair play, you called it. You called Werner had a great week and...
I mean, you've been calling it for the past 5 weeks, so I don't know if it counts.
Yeah, I mean, you're like 20% right, so we'll give you that, okay? But, Braden, what are we saying? If you could captain anyone in the league, don't even have to be on your team, who are you captaining and why are you captaining them?
It's probably pretty obvious. It's got Bruno Fernandes. I mean, the guy. If United play well going forward, everything's through him. He could captain the team as well against Chelsea, depending on whether Ollie takes a risk of putting Maguire back in. Who had a decent game, a very good game against Newcastle. Goal solid at the back. So it wouldn't be too bad if he went back in. I don't think, but it's whether he starts. But yeah, in terms of Bruno, penalties, going forward, everything goes through him. I reckon United could possibly score more than one in the game as well if we do score. So we could be looking at a goal and an assist possibly from him.
Yeah, so
it's a big call.
It's a big call. We'll put him down there. Oh, he's upside down. He's the right way around now. Let's hope that he does better than the last United fan to back Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, big calls. So we're going to pick our captain of the week this week. I think we're pretty adamant. The first time we've agreed in a long time, to be fair. Mo Salah against Sheffield United.
Oh Mo, you little dancer, you're going to get us some points this week, I can feel it.
I don't think Liverpool are going to concede to Sheffield United this weekend, and if they do, they need to look at themselves in the mirror because Sheffield United look absolutely horrible going forward. So Trent, again, should get a clean sheet in my opinion, but Mo, you've got to do the business,
Come
mate.
on Salah, please. Do it for all of us.
He's at home. He hasn't not returned at home this season.
He's been rested as well. He took 30 minutes out of the game. It's just really in the stars for you to get some points for us, son.
I just feel like it's one of those weeks that everything that you think's going to happen is not going to happen. So, next segment of the video, we're talking about the ones to watch of the week. This player's got to be under 10% ownership, and you think they're going to bag. Who are you picking, Braden?
I'll be honest, there was quite a few I looked at. I think if Pogba was possibly starting still for United, he'd definitely be a shout. Van der Beek, if he was starting, would be a shout, but unfortunately them two. Pogba out of the team and Van der Beek can't nail down a first team place, so it's a bit messy. But so Maximin's a good shout because I feel with Newcastle, anything could go through them. Go through St Maximin. He seems to be their only shining light. I was going to pick this player. He's a defender, so I don't know how well it'd be on the old FPL points, but if Ollie goes with the same team that he goes with against PSG, my ones to watch would actually be Axel Tuanzebe.
Cool.
Because I think Ollie's got a big call to make in terms of does he go with the same back three against PSG or does he bring Maguire back in? Because Tuanzebe was nothing short of excellent in that game.
Played very well
against two of the world's best attacking players and we don't mention that. So Tuanzebe would be mine. I know he's not exactly going to bag a lot of goals, but if we're just talking football in general, then
that's an interesting pick. He's 4.5 million on FPL, so obviously a very good budget option if he does get into that United defence.
Yeah, if he does get in, well, he'll have to get into my FPL team.
Yeah, a lot of people would bring him in.
I think with him as well, if you can get him and Mengi in about a few years' time, that is some partnership. I tell you what, I can't wait. I actually can't wait. Our kid Tuanzebe and our kid Mengi has been brilliant.
So you heard Braden's pick. He's a little bit biased, I think, but our ones to watch pick this week. Who's it going to be?
None other than Sergio Aguero against West Ham United. 10.4 million, 2% owned. He scored in midweek. He came off after 60 minutes in midweek. He's going to start at the weekend against West Ham, and we think he's going to score.
I do indeed. He took the penalty midweek, which is crucial. City, obviously, they're a very attacking team. A lot of players in and around the box, a lot of touches in the box. Good chance of penalties. He's obviously open play as well. De Bruyne could be back, could be starting. I smell goals.
Yeah, I think it's a great option to go for. If you want one big asset, differential, who's going to get you zooming up those leagues.
Captain him, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be not a bad choice to go for. Here we go, the final section of the video this week, and we're looking at the FPL Graduates League. As always, we'll leave some sort of link to it in the description, and check it out. If you are not already in the league, there's loads of us in there.
People joining still as well.
Yeah. So the top point scorer of the week is, right, I hope I do not get this name wrong, but it's Tom Kusing. And he got 104 points in his wild card this week. He had Tom Kilman in at the back, he had Heung-min Son, Havertz, Rodriguez, Werner captain, and Harry Kane. That is ridiculous for a wild card, unbelievable. He could have got more points here and there, but overall, even with Emi Martinez in goal, he's had an unbelievable week.
There must be a lot of brainwashed Carefree Lewis G fans, because I've seen a lot of Werner on a wild card is a massive shout out.
That is no. Why?
Someone called him the blonde Shane Long is quite funny.
Yeah, so incredible week. Well done. 104 points. One of the highest totals we've had so far.
I think it's the highest, yeah. But currently top. It's changed. Alex Thomas, you're no longer top, mate. You're nearly there. You're still second. It is Mohamed Abdul Hakim with blowing swishes. He scored 85 points last week on a total points of 371. He's doing bits. Played his wild card last week too. He had the likes of Semedo at the back, Son, Rashford, Captain Werner again.
Where are all these Werner captains coming from?
Out of the woods.
I reckon Lewis has got this account as well.
And then Calvert-Lewin and Salah. Overall, not many players returned, but the ones that did, they returned big, and that's all that matters.
It is all that matters, and that's what really counts when you're trying to get really high up in those leagues. So, hey, looks like we've got to improve a bit.
Especially me. I think I'm 213th in the FPL Graduates League at the minute.
I'm 89th. I think you're doing the best out of
82nd.
But I haven't used my wild card yet. You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint, boys. Think about it.
I have not celebrated yet.
Okay, so that wraps it up for another week of FPL Fridays. Braden, thank you for coming on. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, it's been great. Hopefully later on in the season I can come on again and United would have won the league. But we'll wait and see. Debatable.
As always, please make sure you leave a like, comment, share this about. Follow our TikTok. We are so close to 10,000 followers on TikTok. It is ridiculous. Make sure you follow us on there. I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And I've been Braden.
And we'll see you
later.